Okay. So time for the hot seat question. The hot theme right now, the hot topic right now is overproducing, the overproduction of ball pythons, the flooding of the market, blah, 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 blah. What's our opinion on it? We've actually been messaged about this from a lot of people that follow what we're doing. But again, we are drama free. We don't partake in any drama. So if we can't offer something that's constructive and that we can make the situation better, whether through conversation or whether being an example, then we don't want nothing to do with it. So in this situation, I think, I think we can offer something up for the discussion that the hobby as a whole can benefit from. So let's get into it. Hey guys, what's going on? Will here, Flawless Exotic Creations, coming to you guys with another video this Thursday. And today, again, we literally had 3 messages that were talking to specifically about the same exact thing. And the third question was kind of the same issue, kind of worded in a different way. A lot of people, I guess, this is not going to be a video where we're throwing names out there. We're friends with big breeders. We're friends with small breeders. But I think that I can offer up some topics to make people think a little deeper. Should you be breeding? Should you not be breeding? Should you be producing, tons of clutches? Should you be producing clutches at all? Let's talk about it. So, for example, we're going to throw ourselves under the bus, first season last year, first season, keeping, breeding, the whole shebang. Everybody's heard our story. We tell our story, hopefully to inspire people not to just jump out there and start breeding, but to be creative, to have a plan, not kind of go at it willy-nilly, literally have an organized plan. Shout out to Paul over there, Spheric. Shout out to Hypnotic. Shout out to Sloan. Me and Darren talk about the hard topics, and Darren's a friend. And I told him that, before I even got into ball pythons, he was already doing his thing. So seeing his mindset and knowing where we were with the crested geckos, I knew then that he wasn't seeing the big picture. And maybe that's the best thing I can suggest on this overall topic is if you're a breeder, enthusiast, keeper, and you have friends in the industry, make sure they're truly your friends. Make sure they're not just kind of associates or people hanging around maybe to try to get a deal here or there. Make sure they're your friends. And what do I mean by that? That means that, I want the friend, I guess, like I said, I'm gonna use ourselves as an example. I want the friend that I walk up to and I say, "Dang, man, times is hard right now. I'm getting ready to go rob a bank right now. I'm gonna go get the money, get into the bag." I do not want the friend that's gonna say, "Yeah, man, go do that, go do that, go do that thing. You know what you're gonna do. Oh yeah, okay, cool." And then they walk away and they're like, "Man, he crazy. Why you gonna do that?" And literally sit there and watch me crash out, ruin my life, ruin my family, the whole 9 yards. And they knew I was making the wrong decision from the door. On the opposite side of things, I want the friend like Darren, like I've been for Darren, like he's been for me, where, I come to him and say, "Hey, I'm getting ready to go rob this bank." He said, "Man, you stupid. You do that, you're going to ruin your life." Now, there's a few things that's taking place there. Darren is throwing it all on the line. He knows that at the end of the day that what he's telling me is the truth. Whether, it's not going to benefit him at all, but it can benefit me. And it's the harsh reality of the truth, my own truth, the true situation at hand. And he's telling me that knowing that, hey, you know what? He's staying true to himself. He may lose the friendship if I'm that type of person. But guess what? Me and Darren, we're the same way. It's worth it. If you're going to stop talking and dealing with me because I literally, keep it 100 with you, 1,000 with you, and keep it dead true to you and what you're doing. KG, DNKG, same way. I need people on my team and in my corner and who I call friends to stay real and hold me accountable. So all that is very important, because where I'm going with this video is hopefully to inspire people to do the right thing, improve the market. Share this video. Again, this is not a hateful video. This is not going to be a vindictive video. This is literally going to give you direction, okay, and foresight. So at the end of the day, breeding ball pythons. Is this many ball pythons available on the market? Is that many? It don't matter. The ball pythons that are available, we need to make sure that they're going to good homes, okay? What does that all entail? That means this is so many different levels. It frustrates me that we can't talk and use common sense. You're going to have the level of breeders that are going to breed, especially first year or two, just to see if they're able to breed. I get that. The volume of which those type of breeders are going to produce does not affect the market. Okay. When you're producing, 2 clutches, 3 clutches for the year, that does not affect the market, high end or low end. Okay. When you're a higher, bigger breeder, does it affect the market? Yes and no. And what is the market, guys? We all create the market. What's more important than the market is, at the end of the day, have your business plan, execute your business plan, and it has to make sense. So I led this whole video off to tell you guys that we had 43 clutches first year. We had roughly, I got to look at the numbers, but 250 hatchlings. We held back 40. That's going to move us forward. The other 200 plus ball pythons are gone. Okay. They are all sold. Now we can dig in deep. You guys can go follow us over on Flawless Crested Geckos, our business approach and what we do. We have over 1,500 crested geckos. We're going into year 9 of breeding crested geckos. We've been doing it for 6 years full time, which got us into the ball python business in a major way. If you watch our journey and watch where we've come from into where we're going, we're always positive, and this is going to be one of those videos to spin something negative into a positive. So year 1, 250 ball pythons, they're gone. All right. This is year 2. All right. We were slighted right around 50 clutches. People are like, oh, well, the market is down, the industry this, the industry that. Why would you produce so many clutches? And there's tons of other people. Again, I want to use us as an example. People aren't talking about us. We're not taking offense of it, anything. I want to kind of provide context of a way that we can try to solve said issue. And reason we were shooting for 50 clutches, we're on currently, I think 31 currently right now, coming out of the incubator. We only have 2 more clutches in the incubator, so that'll be around, I guess, 33 clutches. We have to ultrasound this weekend to see how far along the other moms are, see if any are getting ready to ovulate, see if we're going to get closer to that number 50. The number 50 doesn't mean anything to us. Okay. The number 50 doesn't mean anything to us when it comes to clutches. What our whole intentions for breeding our year 1 and year 2 was for one thing, for us. Okay. We literally are trying to push certain projects, some of them that haven't been done, Some people say it can change the game. Some of it cannot. Some of it has been done and it's very limited on what's out there. We are not producing animals here where it's like, okay, I want to produce this and it's, world's first, never been done. This was my goal animal and now it's for sale. We need that animal actually to hit that goal animal to now make a new goal. And now the new goal, we chase the new goal, buy whatever we need to buy or hatch out whatever we need to hatch out to make the new goal, to make it to the new goal. All of it is pieces to the puzzle, whatever the project may be. So every single one of our breedings are literally scheduled and planned out for us to move forward. Now, people don't like the wording, but I'm going to tell you and break it down how it really is. At the end of the day, what ends up being for sale from Flawless is the byproduct of what we miss. Guys, this is ball python. You are playing with the odds, and the sooner the better, that you understand that. You're going to fail at these pairings like we are. You're going to fail at some of these odds more often than not. Okay, so you're going to end up with byproduct. If you plan accordingly, your byproduct will be high end enough where it is actually what somebody else is seeking. It's very, very simple. It's what somebody else is seeking. Therefore, we still, will end up with, and again, I'm throwing numbers. I haven't really crunched this year's numbers at all. But if you ended up with 200 babies right now, and guess what? Oh, wow. We ended up hatching out of 200 babies, 2 pastel POS double het puzzle clowns. Okay, who wants to buy pastel single gene? Yes, people want to buy, pastel, double het clown puzzle or pastel het puzzle, or, because pastel looks great in puzzle, or maybe, hey, pastel het clown is considered a wholesale animal. We get it. But these are what we already anticipated. These are our misses. These are not the animals that, we are putting up, for top notch, top dollar, whatever the market is for those animals, the market is for those animals after we do the research. Some of them, there's no baseline to guide us by, because we're literally in that area by design. We made a video some time ago about staying out of the trenches, and we do want to stay out of the trenches. I want to say last year, out of the 43 clutches, we only had 1 bell. Bells are beautiful. You'll hear a lot of people tell you that they sell well, they sell at shows well. But again, for us, our business plan is completely different. We are not at a level or even in design to produce what sells. I know that don't sound right. We are not trying to, I need to produce, blackhead clowns are selling like hotcakes. Let's produce blackhead clowns. Well, that's not our plan. Okay. Our plan is, okay, cool. We like blackhead clown. Let's see what a blackhead Wookiee clown looks like. Okay. So if we're trying and we're doing our pairings accordingly and trying to hit a blackhead Wookiee clown, which there's not a ton of them out there. And it's like, all right, cool. Yeah. All right. We hit 3 of them. And this is a imaginary situation. This is how we go about planning breedings. We have a clown to clown with, the mixture of genes in there. We're going for the blackhead Wookiee clown, and we have 6 babies, and we end up hitting 3. And let's say, all right, cool. We hit, 1 point or 2.1 blackhead Wookiee clowns. Amazing odds. The others were 3 clowns. Now we just produced 3 clowns that are going to be on the market, available for someone to acquire 3 clowns. But we're doing that with all intents and purposes and understanding that, guess what? There's, 1,000 other clowns out there. As a breeder, I'm comfortable and I understand that I'm going to put this high-end, pictures up there, content I'm gonna share on social media. I'm gonna do all my due diligence. I'm gonna do the behind the scenes work. All the effort, all the energy is going to be put into showing off even single gene clowns in hopes of finding them a new home. But guess what? If they don't sell for a year, 2 years, they're going to still be here getting fed, getting fat. That's in our business plan. Whatever we produce, we need to be able to feed and keep. That's why our infrastructure is the way it is. That's why we have multiple unplugged racks sitting there just in case we end up with an overage of inventory where we need to hold on to it until that perfect customer finds that perfect snake. We bought an upgrade last year, Fort Knox, a big, huge 17 level 10 series rack for purposes of looking forward to, all right, in tough times, we may have to hold on to things for a longer period of time, whether low end projects or high end projects, and we're comfortable saying we'll hold on to it. But all our breeding is scheduled around that, because at the same time, we're trying to chase specific projects for specific goals. And if we miss on those odds, maybe we'll try the following year. Maybe we'll upgrade a part of that breeding project. If we were doing head to head, maybe we'll do a visual to the head. Whatever plan we come up with, we're constantly trying to improve. I bring up Darren because he tells us his story all the time, and I learned from his story. I learned from his experience, his dreamsicle story. He tells it all the time, doing double head to double head since dreamsicles was discovered, and and them being $20,000, $25,000, and him buying double hats and him missing the odds and sticking to it with the same pair for 7 years, and finally hit in year 7. He hits the dreamsicle, and the dreamsicle is not 25 grand anymore. The dreamsicle is $1,500. So what do I learn as a newbie from his experience is, guess what? Every single one of them 7 years that he was in the game, he was buying other snakes and other projects the entire time, moving forward in other things, adding new genes, new males, new females. But guess what? Never revisited the same project that is his love. Not knowing that, okay, in year 3, he could have ended up with a lavender het pied or a pied het lavender on the male or female side, whatever it may be, and increase the chances, increase the odds, increase the production, increase the number of dreamsicles he would have hit maybe a year, 2 years earlier, maybe end up, with, dreamsicle being 5 grand before, he had any available at that time. And again, what was his major goal? He wanted to create a dreamsicle. So he hit his goal. It just took him 7 years. And now that he has available dreamsicles, he's not going to get what they were when they first came out. So that's completely understandable. So what we need to focus on, and again, guys, this is only my opinion, amateur. I hold ourselves here at Flawless to a high standard, but we are not the pros, guys. We are not. I look up to all the pros, and, I watch everyone, big and small. But at the same time, we have to think, guys. We have to really, really think and be creative. So whatever it is that you enjoy, you need to understand there's other people that like what you like. But you also need to be responsible for your actions. Okay? And it is nobody else's fault that you can't move your inventory. That means work harder. Get yourself out there. Get out here in front of this camera on YouTube. Get out there on Instagram. Get out there on whatever platform you need to get out there. Get out there to the shows. Go visit shows. Whatever it is. Network amongst each other. Because at the same time, if it's something that you like, you have to understand that there's a customer base for it, whether it's high end or low end. But if you understand true business, it's still supply and demand. Okay, no matter how pretty a snake is, whether it's a stranger, people are disappointed with stranger right now. I love it, guys. We bought into stranger twice, in a major way. Everything else, all the other, after our first 2 stranger males, all our other strangers, males and females, was under 10 grand. Okay, our first stranger male, I think, was 12 grand. And then it died. We didn't get anything from it. And then we pretty much had to double back and buy his sibling, and it was literally natural causes and things that may occur. But you got to keep your head down and stay focused, because something like that can break a breeder. It can break your will. It can break your determination. You have to persevere. You have to push through it. So I say all that in hopes of bringing people together. The market is going to do what the market is going to do. But understand your identity. At the end of the day, if you're hatching out something that you love, all right, I'll use us for example again. If I love Mojave clowns, Okay. And I'm not going to look it up yet, but I'm sure there's a ton of Mojave Clown combos on Morph Market. If I love Mojave Clowns, why don't I say, all right, cool, I'm going to go buy a Mojave Clown because it's really, really reasonably priced, instead of me sitting trying to breed for it. And I'm going to come back to that too. I buy a Mojave Clown, and then what am I trying to do with Mojave Clown at that point? I told you guys, whether it's the Pompeii, regardless of what it is, Batman, everybody's disappointed by the price drops that's going on as these genes progress year after year. But what is your vision? You have to have your own vision, whether it's paint, whether, whatever it is. So that Mojave Clown, if I'm buying a Mojave Clown, I'm creating a vision for it. Okay, Mojave Clown. All right, cool. I want to see a stranger Mojave Clown pie. All right, cool. Well, I got the Mojave Clown part of it. Let me go out and get a stranger pie. Okay, cool. Again, I'm not jumping deep, but at the same time, once those two are ready, I can breed my Mojave Clown to my stranger pie in hopes of hitting the all gener. We already know everything is going to be double het clown pie. Hopefully we hit the Mojave stranger because it'll be the double het, and we hold back, and move forward from there. But if not, and guess what? It may take you 2 years or 3 years, and you just beating the pavement moving forward. But at the same time, you're creating animals that are at least double het, still high demand moving forward, that somebody else is going to be seeking after. The reason I would start there at this moment is because that's where the market is at. If I started with a Mojave, even a Mojave het clown is kind of tough, because then you're going to be playing the testing game. So why not spend the money on the front side of things and not have to test, because you know everything to be het that you end up hitting in a clutch. But that's a different story. Hit up shedtesting.com for all your shed testing needs. Got to plug them in. Charlie is my man. But hopefully I'm speaking with sense to you guys to bring everybody together. If you started, from the ground up, and you have your own Mojave, that's fine. If you have your own stranger, that's fine. Now you're going to take the path of how you're going to get those two genes that's in two different snakes in a single farm into your goal, which will be a clown pie. You're talking about 7, 8, 10 years. You have to figure out your movement. Okay. Plus, at the same time, what is your byproduct at that point? Are you going to be one of those breeders that's still creating Mojaves, that's still creating, single gene, whatever it may be? There's nothing wrong with it if your infrastructure is right. Yeah, y'all get tired of hearing the infrastructure. You're going to get tired of hearing that. But it's accurate. How does that even apply? Well, if the infrastructure is right, that means I know what I'm looking at right from the gate. So if I'm hitting, if I have 2, 3, 4 Mojave, single gene Mojave, males and females, I understand that there's 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, whatever single gene Mojaves out there. That mean I'm in the trenches. That mean I'm in there with everybody else. I'm one of 4,000 breeders that have one available. I'm doing the best I can, taking pictures, showing off my animal as it gets bigger, continually feeding that animal, it not being 2 years old and 100 grams. I'm taking care of that animal to the best of my ability. But at the same time, me as the breeder chose to do that breeding. I plant that. So now I need to take care of that animal until it either stays here forever and I have housing, I have an enclosure, I have an enclosure for it or a rack for it. It has its home. It's eating every single time that we feed. Or somebody decides that they want it from Flawless. And then it finds its customers. Sometimes you're going to end up being upside down. That means I put more money, if you're buying rodents, I put more money in rodents, putting it into that snake, than the dollar amount that we would get revenue-wise from selling said snake. It happens. That's being a responsible breeder. So as far as overproducing, I don't really think it's a thing. I think it's more so the breeder. Because is there a such thing as overproducing if you have 2,000 breeders, different breeders, that end up producing bells or whatever it is? They end up producing the same exact snake, or a certain combo off from the snake, but all the same level of snakes. So you're sitting there with 5,000 snakes that's all at the same level. Are we all truly still going to complain if we can't move those snakes to the right customers? We shouldn't be complaining. We shouldn't be complaining, because guess what? We plant for that. We plant that for ourselves. We produce those animals. So when we produce those animals, we're claiming responsibility for those animals. We're claiming that we're going to tend to their needs, have them in the right enclosure, right size enclosures, feeding them the right size prey items, and taking care of them until the right customer finds them. So there's really no such thing as overproduction. There's really not. I think it's more so irresponsible breeding. So if you're knowing that you can't house, feed, and take care of 200 plus ball pythons, and you're hatching them out, what are you going to do? What you're going to do is you're going to complain about the market and not being able to move said animals. I don't think that's the right thing to do. I think it's more so put yourself out there, do everything you can to find that right customer for your animal, and just keep taking care of your animals. It's like that by design. It just is what it is. I mean, that you can frown upon the higher end projects. I get it. That's fine. It is, whether you agree or not, it is a pay to play type of situation with certain genes, but even those genes will come down. It happened with Stranger, it happened with Wookiee, it happens with every single gene. Banana, I hear the stories about $100,000 banana sales, and that's before they even knew that it was sex linked, the whole 9 yards. So I just think we need to approach this with our eyes wide open. A different way to handle it is, what are you doing to benefit the industry, the hobby, as a breeder? How many new customers are you bringing in that are excited about ball pythons? Whether it's normals, whether it's bells, whether it's high-end projects. Let's focus on bringing in the new generation, the new ball python keepers, maybe breeders in the future, but the new ball python keepers, and again, this is the industry as a whole, whether it's pet keepers, whether it's breeders, the whole 9 yards. I think we can resolve all these, discrepancies and issues that we're having amongst each other, complaining about this, that, and the third, when we sit back and think, if I'm complaining, because we're not, but if I'm complaining about being stuck, if that's a word, being stuck with inventory, why'd I do that pairing? Okay, because I'm going to tell you, we're trying to hit some home runs. And one, for example, we're trying to hit that doggone, impossible Stranger puzzle clown. And in our attempts, let's say if we hit one Stranger puzzle clown, male or female, and I end up with 10 normals in the process, even though that's not really possible with what we're breeding. But if I end up with 10 normals in that process, I am completely capable in understanding the fact that they may stay here forever. So that means I need to have the infrastructure, meaning housing, enclosure, time to care for them, spend time with them. I need to have the rodents, whether we're breeding our own or going to buy them on a weekly basis to feed and take care of them. But the number one thing I need not to complain about is not being able to move those 10 normals, because I already hit, and achieved the goal I was after. And that come with it, right? That's what comes with this. All right. So I guess a good phrase to use is, don't breed beyond your means. Stay within your means. I wouldn't focus so much on the market. I will focus more on your brand. I will focus on your projects. I will focus more on your goals. Because for us, I understand the market completely. We've been doing it a while, but not in ball pythons. But at the same time, I, as a breeder here at Flawless, refuse to put our projects on pause and not breed or not pair as many, because I don't want to produce too many ball pythons. Because at the end of the day, if they don't sell, they're going to stay here. And they're going to get fat and big. And at some point, they're going to sell. We're going to market. We're going to promote. We're going to encourage other keepers and new breeders to enter the industry. We're going to help other people. We're going to extend ourselves to help as many people as possible, and hopefully communicate our journey that we've had thus far, which has been a blessing, and keep rocking away at it. But I think if we look at things that way, we'll have a better understanding of what's going on, and we'll have overall better accountability. Anyway, it's Will. Flawless Exotic Creations. I hope this video finds you guys doing extremely well. Not trying to cause any controversy at all. We're all about positivity, bringing people together, bringing the industry together. We can get through these tough times. They've done it in the past several times already before we even got here. Again, we need to have a positive, outlook on things, and take accountability. Be responsible. This is your business. Respect your business, and treat it as such. Hey, it is what it is. But we love you guys, and I hope you guys have a flawless weekend.